here. Well, here we go. Don't have anybody in here yet. Not that that's a problem. Let's see if I can get this broadcast a little bit. Well, this is kind of interesting. I've never done anything like this before. This is similar to the old, well, I shouldn't say I've never done anything like this before. This is similar to the old blog TVs that were done a long time ago on this channel. We hadn't done those in quite some time, and then blog TV met its unfortunate end. And then, of course, we were kind of left with nothing. So this is kind of just a test run to see how everything goes. If this is kind of awkward at first, it's because I'm trying to get all of the settings down and see exactly where we're at. This is certainly interesting, that's for sure. I want to check and see what everything looks like from multiple angles. Let's see here. It looks like for all of you who want to view this in the future, it looks like that there is the possibility that you can just go to the channel page and see whether or not I'm hanging out. I will, of course, usually update all of you as it is going on via Facebook, on the Facebook page, so you definitely want to be a part of that to know whenever I'm doing this, either that or over on Twitter, which I should send out right now, which I'm going to do live on air because I'm professional like that. And this is going to sort of be how things roll until I get everything sort of taken care of. Still down at nobody, which makes me believe that I'm doing something wrong. Seeing tweets of people's lumps, that's always fun. Okay, that actually did submit the tweets. There should be a link coming your way. Wonder where that's at. Still trying to learn everything about this. Don't want to get too frustrated on all of that, but want to give this a try. Yeah, I'm actually going to be watching myself here in just a moment, which is kind of weird. So I should get a fast broadcast. I see that that's working just fine. I wonder if it's going to pop up in the search. I don't know. This is kind of odd. Don't listen to this. Looks like there's a little bit of a delay. If you're wondering, I'm actually using the this is weird to watch myself. It's really odd. I need to get the hell out of here. I wonder if that actually ruined things. No, it doesn't look like it. Doesn't look like it. I was my only viewer, yeah. I can watch myself on my own channel. That's ridiculously odd. So, yeah, that's kind of interesting. Actually, I should get that link up for you guys. Okay, here we go. Yeah, it looks like I'm going to be able to tweet and also submit the link to you guys over on YouTube. Excuse me, Facebook. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. We're going to get started here in just a moment. Like I said, once we get things down a little bit, we may be able to kind of streamline this a little bit better. I think I'm mostly doing this just as a little bit of a test for everything like that. I don't really have much of an agenda, but for those of you who will watch this later, I should give you something, somewhat of your money's worth, especially those who also have taken the time to come out right now. You can hear me in the background there because I'm watching myself to just scope out how everything looks. I'm going to go ahead and quit doing that. My hair is a mess and aloof as per usual. I need to get this cut. So why don't I take this time actually to do a couple of things. There is a chat that's available. I'm going to post over there and give that a nudge, literally. I'm going to misspell nudge. Here's something that many people probably don't know. Some people probably do if you've been subscribed long enough. I typically wear a set of spectacles that are like this. That's my typical face wear. Unfortunately, these sunglasses are not any sort of prescription or anything like that, so it's a bit strange, and it's a little bit harder to read. These actually belong to my uncle about 40 or so years ago. He used to race some funny cars here in the local area. I'm in southwestern PA. They've gone multiple locations for that. He and my dad both did that. So these were actually found whenever we were going through some stuff at my grandmother's old place whenever she passed away, and I decided not to keep these, and lo and behold, they sort of ended up becoming a bit of a signature. I mentioned that, and I mentioned, things that people don't know because we have a relatively large event that's going to be coming up very soon. Of course, some of you have probably seen the very cryptic way in which it's been sort of advertised a little bit, the very cryptic way that it's sort of been mentioned and talked about. And so I want to take the time right here to give you a bit of an update on that. So you can even consider this as a bit of a channel update at the same time. But for those of you that ascertained that the reason why those were coming the way that they were it was for 24 hours of Cover Killer Nation is because that is exactly what it is for. So those of you who hypothesized that that was the deal with that, you are absolutely 100% correct. So congratulations on your correctness is all that I will say. Now, my initial intent was to have a date planned right around the time whenever I started promoting that. However, there has been nothing concrete that I've really been able to do because I was in the midst of a relatively long, drawn-out process of a job search, I guess, or really a job interview. It was one that lasted over a month, and was something that was happening a bit without warning at times. I was getting calls on random days whenever I was expecting to hear something of a decision being rendered for that position. It was an IT professional position, but instead of getting anything like that, I was merely getting more steps in a process that, like I said, ended up running a little bit over a month. And now I have been left without a call for probably about 2 weeks. So there is a good chance that that is a dead prospect. I have been working extremely hard on this channel for the past couple of months because I have been without work. So I will finally put that out there to all of you. And the channel does me all right. That's all that I will say. And if it seems as though I've been a bit powerhousey toward some of these new features and kind of finally exploring a lot of the different actions and avenues that you can take using some of YouTube's policies and YouTube's features, as well as coupling that with some other things. That's the reason why. But the 24 Hours of Cover Killer Nation event is one where I wanted to have this live stream capability available, because if there was one thing that I felt was missing from the event that we did 2 years ago back in 2013, there was no sort of time frame where I just sat in front of you, fielded questions, either that or just hung out and either listened to random tunes or did whatever. Now, I don't know if I'm able to do that through this. I think that may be a violation of terms and services. So I don't think I'd be able to play things live on air. However, I could probably use that as a tool to either perpetuate future reviews. We could actually go different places and different ways with this, almost where it could be like a series where I get suggestions of songs from you guys, perhaps 5 of them or something, and we do reviews of that. Either that, or this is a great way, a great hub, a great sounding board where I can kind of, gauge what you guys are thinking, gauge what you guys are talking about, and try to further the empire and deliver some great content. Now, I also saw that there is a screen capture option on here, which means that I might be able to do some game streaming or just some random stuff. That way you don't have to look at my ugly mug the entire time. Maybe I can just do some game streaming and talk over it. I would have to play around with that a little bit to see if that is a potential possibility. Now, 26 of you. Well, thank you for showing up. Thank you for coming, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, this is unofficial. This is really like a test drive, a pilot, if you will, for CKN Live, which I guess would be similar to like a broadcast or a podcast of the how things are kind of going on the channel, things that are upcoming, things that are big in music news or whatever it may be. Just an opportunity for all of us to hang out together and kind of have a pretty good time with it. So I do thank all of you who have showed up already. I hope that at the end of this, I will have this made available to all of you on YouTube. That way you can watch it in case you were somebody who didn't have the opportunity to check this out because perhaps you were at work or perhaps you're in a completely different time zone and this is really late or really early for you. And this is kind of a shock. If I were to do these in the future, it would probably happen a little bit closer to the evening anyhow, unless it was a recording that I wanted to make sort of in a pinch, if there was some important topic or device that I really wanted to get out to you guys, and then just allow you to check it out and watch it afterward. So 24 Hours of Cover Killer Nation 2 years ago really didn't have that live idea that I sort of wanted. I had the blog in place and was posting to that with every review that I did and every thought that really came to my mind in some sort of longer fashion, as opposed to just, tweeting each and every single one of my thoughts, which I can't do because I don't find my thoughts that interesting half the damn time, and I assume that the same is true for all of you. I am not the most interesting man in the world. I am far from it. I'm nowhere close to the most interesting YouTuber. Look at the subscriber totals of people like PewDiePie or Markiplier. Both of those people, I don't kind of understand the widespread allure, but maybe that's just my personality. A lot of the gamers that I watch, aside from one, have subscriber counts that are way lower than mine, and that's not by design. It's just sort of how it's worked out. And then, of course, I do watch a lot of the community videos. I may not comment on a lot of them, but I do watch. And I guess I must just like to root for the underdog. I mean, I'll watch some BuzzFeed. I'll watch some Danger Dolan top 10 lists because I find them to be pretty interesting. whenever they have some pretty cool topics. But aside from that, I really wanted there to be some sort of live idea for all of you, and that's the reason why I asked on the Facebook group a little while ago what you guys knew about this, what you guys knew about the Google Hangout or the YouTube live show feature. Mainly for two reasons. First of all, for the 24-hour event, I wanted to have a stream available. I wanted to have this capability available for each and every one of you. But also, it's something that could be done in the future in order to further talk about the channel, even if these are shows that last, only 20 to 30 minutes and cover a specific topic, or maybe even less than that, maybe more than that. It's hard to tell. I remember that in the old live stream days and blog TV that I would go for a couple of hours, and usually by the end of that time, not only was my voice spent, but I was spent, period. I did those late at night, and usually after that, I would pop on some music or pop on, a DVD and slowly drift to sleep because I was just spent from talking. And really back then, it was talking, there was interaction, there was laughing, there was all sorts of fun stuff, and I really liked that. I kind of missed that a good bit because that was a really fun, very interactive environment. And considering the fact that there's no activity in the chat, I'm assuming that I've done something wrong. So perhaps somebody who's done this before, if you happen to watch this, maybe you can tell me perhaps what setting that I screwed up, or if this is something where it's all available through comments on YouTube. I should really check my messages here. In fact, I'm going to do that right now, live on the air, because I'm super professional. Speaking of one of the dudes that I watch, he just went live on Twitch. They're going to be doing a Nuclear Throne tournament. Holy shit! I've never played Nuclear Throne. It's on my my Steam wish list, but it is not something that I have gotten yet. This email can make my dreams come true. Yes, I'm sure. Oh, okay. It looks like there are comments. Hail Crotch Duster. Hell yes. I agree. Hail Crotch Duster. I just read your comment live on the air because I got it through my phone. I'm going to actually pop over to... this is going to be really, really strange. I'm going to mute that. That way I can avoid the echo that will come, because I do have my headphones right over here. I'm going to move those out of the way. And we're going to sort of go from there. This is going to be really strange. This is why I'm glad that I made this just a pilot. Why I made it just that way. I'm wondering if it's because I put that Google Hangouts on there. I don't know. I'm confused. I really am. I'm going to mute that. I'm assuming that needs to load up before it'll show me comments or something. I don't know. Thanks to all who are liking this. Thanks to all who are giving this a little bit of love. Oh, wow. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Here we go. Whoa. This is strange. This is really odd. It's on the side, actually, of the YouTube page itself. This is really silly. This is very, very silly. Okay, well, until I get all of these little ideas worked out, all these bugs worked out, this is going to be kind of interesting. I wonder if that group chat feature actually, and what I think it probably is, I think a group chat feature is actually for anybody else that I would have on board, either that or for the Google Hangout specifically, as opposed to, I don't know, this is strange. I'm going to check out my controls here. I don't know. It's weird that I don't have that on screen right in front of me. Right now I have this YouTube playlist thing in front of me, and it's kind of annoying. I want this out of here. Okay, there I am. That's even weirder. Wait, I can draw on myself? What the? Why would I do that? Well, let's find out. Whoa, 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 whoa. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. This is crazy. This is really it's fucking weird. Let's back out of here. I feel so unprofessional right now, but that's cool. But weirdly enough, I'm going to just have to watch this this transmission of myself, as strange as that's going to feel and sound. I'm going to actually have to maximize my maximize things over here. That way I can read your comments as they come through live. If there's anything that you hear in the background, that's going to be outside traffic. Okay, this is going to be a little bit better. To answer a couple of quick questions about what 24 hours of Cover Killer Nation is all about, and then I'm going to get to some of these comments. Actually, in fact, I'm just going to get to a pair of these comments first. K-pop stuff, probably not. I probably wouldn't review much K-pop. I don't know much about it, though I'm sure I'd probably get a pretty nice sizable chunk of individuals from Japan watching, or Korea, or really from Asia. I think one of the main problems with it is the fact that I don't know much about it. I actually have a former coworker that was really, really big into it. In fact, two of them. But I have not seen them in quite some time. So for one, I don't even know if one of them is even still in the area. And for two, the other one is quite busy. And so I don't know if it would almost be something where I'd have to be educated a little bit aside from listening to the stuff. As for Breaking Benjamin, absolutely we'll be picking that up and giving that a review, especially after seeing them live. That was really cool. Thanks to everybody who are sending salutations and saying that you love the stuff. I'm very glad that you do. Thank you for being a viewer. Thank you very much for being a viewer. And the grilled cheese sandwich would lose to the taco only because the taco has, in my mind at least, Inferno sauce on it. And that just makes the grilled cheese sandwich scared to death. Mainly because a burnt grilled cheese sandwich sucks. Then people are asking about Muse and Rings of Saturn, and the answers to that is Rings of Saturn are okay. I don't particularly find them to be godly, but they're not bad. And Muse, of course, we just covered Drones. If you haven't seen that review, Mario, we just covered Muse's new album Drones on the channel, so definitely pop on over there and do that. That's probably one of the better albums that we've talked about this year. But 24 hours of Cover Killer Nation is meant to be 24 hours where basically I review just about anything that I listen to, whether it be something that's new, whether it be something that is old, whether it be just regular commentary. The last time that we did it 24 hours, we had a couple of different album reviews, whether they be new albums or we did like Between the Buried and These Colors was one of the first ones that we did. I also talked about Jag Panzer album, which I think was a first for this channel. I was it's still kind of am a pretty big Jag Panzer fan. I talked with their guitarist Mark Brody on the old Iron Maiden band board back in the at the turn of the millennium. And Pharmacon, which was really neat considering through that review I got the opportunity to talk to one of their members. We actually just talked, I just talked to the old drummer from Summer Camp, thanks to the 10 90s alternative songs that you may not know, the 10 Awesome Songs series, which I highly recommend to each and every one of you. Not just on the basis that those are some of the videos I put the most effort into with the editing and everything like that, but mainly because these are groups that have potential, and some of these are not going to be names that you're going to hear every day. I know that for me, discovering some of this stuff has been really a very big joy, because I have aside from my collection, I have a super hard drive filled with all sorts of nonsense, just all sorts of crap, because whenever I was Whenever I was much younger and much poorer in college, I was a bit of a pirate, which is the reason why I'm kind of like why my stance has kind of gone a little bit awry, because I've gotten a little bit more respect and realized that what I was doing was not all that good. But I just have all of this stuff that I wanted to check out, and checking it out again, because you can't listen to 80,000, 90,000, 100,000 songs in one day and know everything. Know everything about every single one of them. I'm fortunate if I get through a couple of albums a day these days, considering I have other responsibilities. That's why I kind of like the 24 hours, because it reminds me a lot of whenever I was a bit younger, whenever I was in that college age, whenever I would like on days like today where it's kind of spritzing down rain. I had plans to cut grass right now with my father. It's something that I do on the side because I love it and I'm strange. These were great days that if there was no class, like it was a Saturday or something like that, and there was no party until later, these are great days to just sit back and just jam the music all day and hang out. And that's usually what I did. Talked with a lot of people on AOL, like on AIM Instant Messenger, and made plans. So that 24 hours is something that really, it's a very big throwback for me. And last year or 2 years ago, whenever we did it, we also had some commentary videos, and we also had like the only sports related video that was on this channel that's on this channel about the Miami Heat. Now, I of course could talk about Golden State beating Cleveland for the NBA championship. I could talk about the Chicago Blackhawks just defeating the Tampa Bay Lightning to become the Stanley Cup champions. I could talk about American Pharoah becoming the first horse in over, I think it's like close to 40 years to win the Triple Crown. Maybe it's 37 years. Talk about the Pittsburgh Pirates posting 5 shutouts in the past 6 games. Sports is something I do know about, but I also know that sports commentary is not really an avenue that has a big following on YouTube, for one. It's something that's relegated a little bit more towards sports talk radio, which I do listen to pretty actively. And even then, you really have to be the diehard fan. And really, sports is so visual that just seeing some guy, yammer on for 3 to 4 minutes is probably enough to pull your freaking hair out. So to answer the quick question for Light the Skyline, I used to work at a music store. I no longer do. Currently, I am employed full-time doing this as a reviewer, and I also do some stuff on the side, such as lawn care, such as data entry. I'm basically a bit of a freelance tech. So there's a couple of things that I am doing right now, and I'm currently in the process of finding something that's a little bit more regular, because the one thing I dislike about freelance tech and all of this other stuff is like days like today could have been a payday for me. Whenever I had plans to do some of the lawn work stuff, and then of course it began to rain about an hour or so ago before we even had the chance to get started. So no longer a payday for me, aside from anything that I make here on YouTube, which like I said, I really can't discuss that. I think that what I'm most excited about for this 24 hours, I know I keep jumping back into that, but I'm trying to get through the thought process, but I get sidetracked. Call it ADD if you want. I mainly call it just being excited about so many different things. What I love about the 24 hours is the unpredictability of it. And with this live stream, that only adds unpredictability to everything. And that's something I really dig. I dig the fact that that is truly one of the best aspects that this adds to everything, because it means that while I'm perhaps not wanting to record something, I can instead hang out and still be recording. And we can talk about things kind of in a stretch. It's something where easily on Facebook or through Twitter or anything like that, we could arrange some things that we can discuss during such an event. And I am kind of unclear as to any other further places where there could be a CKN presence. I know a couple years ago there were ideas for perhaps a Reddit. I've never done the whole website thing. I am freelance tech. I am not a programmer by any means, and I would not want some little hunk of junk website, even though I have a little hunk of junk blog. But what I will do is in the chat, I will post the link to the blog for those of you who do not have it, because I know that that Facebook is pretty sucky. It hasn't been really transmitting links and things like that very well. I need to update the blog actually right after we're done here, because the last entry is the recent videos from the 27th of May to the 2nd of June. And of course, we are now on the 17th of June. So it does need a little bit of updating. I just posted, it didn't even come up as a link. It does not even come up as a link. I'll try that again. Okay, well, the comments cannot contain links, but you kind of get the idea there. You can also just search 24 hours of Cover Killer Nation on Google and find the blog, because that is the title of the blog. That is what it is called, as creatively amazing as that is. So, you know, the idea of presence is something where you guys come in a good bit, and you guys have been exceptionally wonderful about that through sharing everything and liking and subscribing, sharing and commenting and everything like that. As far as anticipated albums are concerned, there are a lot of them that are coming up. Of course, we talked about Cattle Decapitation. I'm excited about the new Symphony X. The Lamb of God album sounds like it's going to be crushing. Like, it sounds like it's going to be a really strong, solid work. And of course, Ghost. There's so much that I can say about Ghost. The video for their new song actually popped up as an advert on another video that I was watching. And I've seen the video prior to that, but I had to watch it again. Like, that guy, whoever's video I was watching, just got money from me, and I don't even care, because they picked an amazing ad. They picked the ad that was perfect for me, which was watching a Ghost music video. Very Carrie influenced. I definitely dig that. Very, very Carrie influenced. So there's that. Of course, the new Between the Buried and Me is something that's upcoming, that we seem to be just getting more and more great news about future albums by the day. We, of course, just got the official album cover for Repentless by Slayer. I'm kind of interested in that album because I want to know if this band has it in them to make another classic. And I really don't know if it's going to happen, because they were struggling to make passable music. Well, I shouldn't say passable music. They were struggling to make kind of like slightly above average or just average albums with Jeff Hanneman these past couple of discs. So now without him, I'm not saying Hanneman makes Slayer, but it's just going to be interesting to see how the writing is handled overall on this album. So there's a lot of different things to really think about whenever it comes to that. Yes, I have listened to Deaf Heaven's Sunbather. I really want to hear what comes from them next. I did a video about anticipated summer releases that, quite frankly, I'm going to have to already update. High on Fire has an album that's just about to drop in about less than a week that I'm stoked about. I've in fact had a couple of you really harassing me to review that early. The one thing I will say is I will not review stuff all of that early. I don't think that that's right. Usually my go to review something comes whenever there is an announcement of an official live stream that the band has authorized. That's my go. So, for example, there have been talks and there have been confirmations that the new Between the Buried and Me album has leaked. I will not review that until right around the release date. And I would ask that you guys please respect me for that and still come out and view the video, even though you've probably watched people talk about it a couple of times, either that or heard it yourselves up to that point. Please continue to support your artist. Please continue to support your local deranged album reviewer. And please continue to support one another, because if there's one thing about this community, is that while we do bicker, while we do have our share of fighting, it's usually one that's handled pretty civilly. And I do need to actually review Death Grips. I keep fucking forgetting. I can't believe it. There is a new Motorhead album as well. For those of you who like submit track requests and different review requests, and it seems like you either never get through or it never happens, it's something where I usually gauge based around what is kind of, I don't want to say the most important, but I can only do so much, is I guess what I'm saying. I have to give what I do enough room to breathe. In fact, with the 24 hours, it's going to be strange because we'll probably aim to post somewhere between 15 and 20 videos in a 24-hour stretch, which gives them no room to breathe. But that's the reason why there is the importance of the blog and the Facebook page and everything else. So there is a good bit of you in here right now, I know that. So while I am doing this, I'm trying to see exactly how well we're doing. 74 or something like that. That's fine. There are a couple things that I will say about that that will relate to the 24 hours of Cover Killer Nation. First off, don't be afraid to let your friends know that this is upcoming. I don't have a date officially as of yet. However, my plans, my plot, my hopes is that this is going to happen within the next 2 to 3 weeks. So sometime before the end of June or sometime very early in July would be my target goal for whenever 24 hours of Cover Killer Nation occurs. Whenever an official date comes down, I guarantee you that each and every one of you will be the first ones to know, especially if you're over on the Facebook page or have me on Twitter. I will also make a official announcement on the channel, obviously in the form of probably a video or something interesting. I'll do what I can with my meager skills. But don't be afraid to let other people know about this. And for those of you who have been liking and sharing, and that's the way to spread around the information, obviously, but also that's something that does bring this information and bring this stuff to more people. Because the way in which the protocols with YouTube and Facebook have been going lately, they have not been as universal as they once were. It's not something where I am hearing universally that you guys are all getting the information, getting the videos or the messages as they come out. So that is kind of frustrating on my end. And yes, I will be reviewing the new August Burns Red album. There's new Amorphous that's coming in September as well. I did a Pantera discography review. The only albums I didn't do were the first 4. I can sum those up in probably 3 sentences. They're pretty much power/speed metal. It's pretty fucking funny. They want nothing to do with them. But because of that, it's something where YouTube has placed a greater priority on retention and engagement, the amount of time that you spend watching the videos, whether you like, whether you comment, whether you share. That is their new way of determining, I guess, who is worthy and who isn't. As silly as that may sound, that might be a trade secret. So I'm going to watch out for the sniper bullets. But that's kind of what's up. That's what it is right now with all of that. So anything that you guys do is a help. Anything that you guys do is a help. I love the fact that you guys in the chat are being are engaging so much. You guys are talking and everything, and I feel bad that I can't talk back to each and every one of you. I really feel bad that I can't do that all the time. But how many times have I listened to Hand Cannot Erase since I reviewed it? At least 30, probably more. I used to have a Last FM, and I got this computer that I have right now and just never ever reactivated it and got all the codecs and everything back for it, and I kind of don't care. I kind of don't care at all. But yeah, that's just and right there I see somebody saying that they didn't see the videos, and that's, you shouldn't have to apologize. Matt81, you shouldn't be the one that has to apologize. And you know what? I'm going to just say right now, don't apologize. You don't have to apologize. This isn't your fault. You know, I look at myself very much. I'm very introspective with that. Whenever I say I look at myself, it sounds very egomaniacal, but it's really more introspective than anything. I wonder if there's more that I could be doing in order to enhance this. It's why the videos have started to get a little bit shorter. I've tried to be a little bit more concise. That way, most of you will want to stick around for the whole thing. I have attempted to maybe post things multiple times, or I've sort of changed up the way in which I post things. It's become a little bit frustrating because this was a change that did come with a bit of warning. They did let us know a little bit. However, these side effects, I guess, that have come along with it are not something that I felt that I was made aware of, or felt that I was really prepared to sort of make the shift toward. You know, with some people, they don't have to do anything. They don't have to change a goddamn thing. And it's really fucking irritating that they are able to just kind of cruise along with, and what they have done has been deemed acceptable, as opposed to what I have done, or what a lot of other people who are kind of the middle class of YouTube, or even the lower class of YouTube, have done. So it is a little bit frustrating, but we're making do with what we've got. You know, I'm not going to stop based around this technicality, although I have had recently some bouts of thinking, you know, with the way this is going, is it all worth it? King Crow, yes, Ron, I do know of King Crow. I am hoping to get to that album. That is right now kind of a shelved idea that will hopefully come off the shelf. We will see. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you all for coming out to this. I would sit and talk longer. However, there are a couple of things that I would like to do this afternoon. One of them is I will be putting out another video later on tonight, and it's going to be for the new Graveworm album. This will be the first time I've ever reviewed a Graveworm album on the channel, and I looked on YouTube yesterday, and this may be one of the only times that Graveworm has ever been reviewed by somebody with a Facebook, or excuse me, with a YouTube presence. So we're going to do that, and since you guys know, you guys have the beat, you guys know what's up, so I expect each and every one of you to check out that video. But that's going to be a lot of fun. So far, I've listened to the album once. I enjoyed it quite a bit. I've enjoyed the band in the past. They are kind of underrated. It's probably a group that I could have easily used a song for a 10 Awesome Songs list. CKN's favorite albums as of right now is kind of tabled. It's a project where I want to reassess where I want to go with it, and then we're going to come back with it. There's a lot of part ones that need part twos. There's thrash metal, death metal, and black metal part one. And I think for the 10 Awesome Songs, a couple topics I hope to cover within the next couple of episodes. One of them, I want to have a lot of covers on there. I want to have a lot of cover songs on there and kind of do a covers list. But the one thing that I do dig is I really like the random ones. I dig the random ones that aren't themed, because you get a little bit of everything. You can find a little bit of everything, and plus it really encourages the idea of expanding your overall repertoire. I understand how alluring it would be to have 10 black metal songs or 10 thrash metal songs, and we were sort of trying that out a little bit, but the one thing that kind of sucks about that is you only get one group of people for that. If you're not somebody who likes black metal, then why the hell watch that list? It's not something that interests you whatsoever. I guess the converse argument to that is, if you don't know what you're getting into, why listen, or why watch it? But one thing that I am going to try with episode number 10, this is something that you guys are going to know, as opposed to everybody else, unless you spoil it, you fucks. Is that for episode 10? Episode 10, I want to do 10 different styles with 10 songs. I think I want to call it like 10 styles, or 10 songs, 10 styles, or something like that. And I want to try to be as diverse as possible. I don't mean 10 metal styles specifically, though. I think that there will probably be about 5, like probably half of it will be different metal subgenres, but they're going to have to be pretty diverse in order for them to make it on there. But then I also want to touch base with a lot of other styles of music, because I do listen to a lot of other styles of music. We haven't talked that much about jazz or blues, for example. We haven't talked about a lot of pop, and actually, weirdly enough, that was one of the first things that I listened to as a youngin', and there's still a lot of stuff that I have. I have a very large arsenal, and who knew that CKN was a huge Dave Matthews fan? If you knew that, then you may know me a little bit better than you should. But yeah, I love Dave. He actually just came through Pittsburgh, and I didn't get the chance to go, which sucks. A couple of my old friends from college went. They said it was a blast, so that's good for them. So anyhow, this is going to kind of do it. I'm really, really happy with the turnout. I'm really happy that all of you guys came and decided to hang out. Like I said, I'm really sorry that I haven't gotten the opportunity to talk to more of you guys during this. It is something where I hope as everything goes on, things get to be a little bit more official. They get to be a little bit more streamlined and actually work a little bit better, as opposed to me just sitting here with no thought process or no real idea in mind. What I will leave you guys with is the fact that this, the future of this channel, the future of the next couple of weeks are going to involve a lot of these reviews, and hopefully 1 or 2 of these shows that will go a little bit longer than this one. This one is going to run probably about 50 minutes, so the same. Actually, this might not be a bad length. This might not be a terrible length. And I want to make them a little bit more topic-centered. I do want to make them a little bit more topic-centered. I saw a couple of you guys talking about my thoughts on streaming and Apple entering into the game and things like that. That is definitely something that we can talk about, that we have talked about it on the channel before. It's interesting because not only does music constantly evolve as far as the sounds and the bands, but also the culture is something that consistently evolves. And we can talk about other things as well. For example, how crazy is it that Jurassic World just broke every opening weekend record imaginable? I did not expect that to happen, quite frankly. I didn't think that would happen. But kudos to them for doing it. That's really awesome. But of course, we will also have the 24 hours of Cover Killer Nation announcement, hopefully coming very, very soon. And during that event, we will be doing videos. We will be doing a couple of these live streams, probably at least one. And if you aren't over on the blog checking that out, I did leave a link over there in the comments or in the chat. That was a long, long time ago, though. Hop over to the Facebook page. The Facebook page link is in the description box of each and every one of these videos. Or either that or add me on Twitter. I'll pop that blog link in there as often as I can for you guys. And I am going to update the blog while I am doing the second and the third run-throughs of the new Graveworm album before I post. So there we go. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for being a part of this. You are a part of Cover Killer Nation history by being in here. Hopefully, you can say that you were part of the pilot episode of CKN Live before it decides to take off and become the greatest online experience since the invention of the internet and live streaming. I look at my hair and sometimes I feel like I should be like a Renaissance composer. I don't know. Thanks, guys. This is Cover Killer Nation signing off. I appreciate each and every one of you being a part of this. As always, it's dangerous to go out there alone. Please take some good music along with you. I'll talk to you guys next time.